Hi there, Liam O'Gogon here, and welcome once again to another episode in the research program series Does It Matter? This particular segment is going to analyze and interrogate a phone call which I received from Marcella Joyce on the 16th of March 2016 at 15:59. That's 1 minute to 4 in the afternoon. This is the second phone call that I received from Marcella. My prior phone call, the first conversation I had with her was on the 7th of March, and I have produced a video analysis of that which should show up connected in this in a playlist. So the first thing again I'd like to do is to set some context for this call because it follows on from the previous conversation, and all of this comes from a master document which is a collation by me of all the correspondence that has happened from the very outset of this saga, let me call it, with the CSO. So it's in a long PDF, and it will be reachable or searchable or linkable through one of the links somewhere in the system here. At the moment it's up in issue.com. Okay, so at the end of the last conversation, which was on the 7th of March, which took place at, I'm just trying to remember, 12:22 on that day, at 13:19 just after it, I wrote to Marcella, and this is the most important thing. I spoke again. I am formally requesting that you email me all records. That should be you email me all records in all formats associated with my application for the census enumerator, which I would be entitled to under an FOI application. Now, this is the bit here. Most importantly, I seek this data in electronic format. So that's going to be a core issue in this whole conversation. So that was on the 7th of March. So let's see, just again, you can see on the left-hand stream there are all the pages. On the 10th of March, I wrote to Marcella saying, I haven't heard back from you since Monday last. Now, just very important, she was very mindful of how short this whole process was, and so it's only going to take a couple of weeks, and time is of essence. So on that particular last email, I pointed out there, I have requested the links, whatever appeal process is, mindful of the short timelines involved. So a number of days later, that's from the 7th to the 10th of March, no response, no information. And I'm obviously still working on the base. They can just pull this data and give it to me. They're dealing with a job, a sense enumerator, an interview process. These are run-of-the-mill stuff in the civil service, and I'm going to be given procedures, but I'm not being given. So that was a first reminder. So my reminder went out on the 10th of March. Yeah, so sorry, at that time it went out at 10:22 in the morning. At 1300, a couple of hours later, hi Liam, apologies, I hope to be in a position to reply tomorrow. So at least I'm pushing for stuff that I shouldn't from a professional organisation. I should ask a question. I should have had this information immediately after I applied for it on February the 24th, on the basis of the expectation developed by me as a result of the value proposition placed in the public consciousness by this CSO. So that was okay. Then on the 14th of March, so that was on the 10th of March. I'm now up on the 14th of March. And just let me check something. Okay, again, I'm just mindful of the fact that weekends kick in here. So the 10th of March was a Thursday. So let me just say Thursday, and the 14th of March was a Monday. So, I sent it on Thursday. So nothing, So on the 14th of March, I get an email. Further to your emails, I apologize for the delay in responding. I have just completed a response and posted, which should reach you in the coming days. Ooh, and then my alarm bells. What is this post? Post what? I said, in my original email and in this email, where I specifically said, most importantly, I seek this data in electronic format. So I'm being delayed. I've told her about obfuscation. I'm now on the 14th of March being told, oh look, I've just posted a response. What's the problem? I mean, this, of all the organisations that I expect to be completely digitised, wow, the CSO. So I wrote back and said, let me say, quite amazing. That was 18:20 that evening. Again, look, it's working late, Haddington Road stuff. Everybody's in the business of writing late in the evening. You got to ask yourself, are these people on overtime? Did it come in late? I don't know what they're doing. But, I mean, I don't care. I'm not here to make a value judgment. I just want them to do what they say they'll do themselves. So I wrote back at 19:35. Hi Marcel, I note in your email just now that you appear to have posted material via snail mail to me. I would appreciate if you would email me the material, as this is the medium in which I communicated with me. That should have been with you. Again, I have lots of typos. I wish I had somebody to help edit my work, and I may not be at that physical address whenever it arrives. I have been somewhat taken aback to find you using the post in this instance. Please confirm receipt by return. Okay, so that was on the 14th of March at 19:35. On the 16th of March, I still had no information. Let me just look at the date of the 14th of March again. What date was that? The 14th of March. 14th of March is a Monday, and then the 16th is a Wednesday, just the day before Paddy's Day. And then this is the reminder business again. Look at, I'm saying, I didn't get the stuff. I'd appreciate if you'd send me this stuff, send me the information, and acknowledge receipt of these. Where's this in, I'm concerned. This letter's gone into post to me, and I'm just thinking, I might be away. It was Paddy's weekend or whatever. I wanted that information. Where is it? And that brings us up, the next intervention is on the 18th of March. So it's in between then I got this phone call. So the phone call, I emailed her a reminder on the 16th of March at 9:52. So let's see exactly when the phone call came in. The phone call came in the 16th of March at 15:59. So that's quite a, I didn't get it late that afternoon. I wrote at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Marcella finally decided to, well, she rang me. So let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, Liam.
Hi.
Hello, Liam. This is Marcella Joyce. I'm calling you from South.
How are you doing?
Hi, Liam. You sent an email on the 14th after I sent that letter, and unfortunately, it's in the general sentence inbox, and I'm afraid it wasn't up to my attention. I didn't notice it, so that's why.
I sent you one this morning, I think. Is that right?
And I did, yeah.
The reminder, was it?
This morning.
Okay, right.
I tried bringing you back this morning. So I just want to apologise.
So the first thing here is, like, I'm really sympathetic still at that point. I'm not sympathetic anymore, guys. Now at the 8th of May, I'm not in the sympathy business anymore. I'm being told I sent emails to her, and it ended up in sort of generalised whatever you have in yourself, didn't wandered around the place. Now the reason I send emails like that is because I end up with a bounce back, a traceability, and an audit trail to the fact that I send the stuff, because I'm so used to people telling me, oh, I never got your data. And that's why, by the way, I'm not interested in data coming through the post. Nothing to do with the post, but at least I know I have a direct lock on. If it doesn't go somewhere, it'll be bounced back to me. So just again, anyway, look, I'll go ahead. You can play that back if you want to see. So because the other thing is, there's a whole ambience around this, a sense of this.
Right, I just want to apologise about that. I have sent your notes in the post, and you haven't received them yet, I take it.
Okay, so I have sent your notes in the post, and you haven't received them yet, I take it. So this is just the first start. Okay, I'm going to try and do something this time, perhaps, because this is not that long of a recording. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to let this recording run to the end of the recording, and then I'm going to go back and just do some reflection on it, just to see if the presentation of that data set is different. And it's easier to do it because it's a relatively short recording. So I just want you to get the overall ambience of this conversation.
Well, no, sorry, I did. What I asked you in the email was to send it to me by email.
Yeah.
And in fact, I just looked back at that was my original request also, and I had communicated with you electronically as well. Is there a problem with that, firstly? Why?
No, not.
Okay. Well, I mean, it shouldn't be.
Can I just answer?
Yeah.
We're in the habit, because they're paper, because of their physical paper notes. That's why we sent them out. We were finding it handier to just put them in the post, send them out. So there's no, no real. That's really it,
Right. But presumably you can just digitize them and send them to me now, can you?
I have another small problem.
Is it a problem with scanning? Like, I don't know. Is it a problem with scanning?
No. Okay. Can I just? I'll tell you, it's a very human error. It's my own fault. I actually sent you out the original, one of the originals in the post. There's two paper notes, but one of them is an original. So if you would be kind enough to send it back, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I mean, firstly, it hasn't come to wherever, and I mean, I'll be away for a number of days, so I mean, this is, I mean, I just really can't. I just presumed everything is electronically scanned, etc. In the state as well. I really don't understand. So it just so what you're saying to me, there's a particular item you sent out was an original. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And the other item, there's a copy, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can you scan that copy and send it to me?
I will. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do it today. Okay.
Right. Well, just to clarify, Marcella, just to be fair, I mean, from my perspective, I just looked back, I reviewed the specific email I originally wrote, and I believe I made it quite clear that I wanted the information electronically. Now, I'm not sure if that's your understanding, and I'm just trying to stay on the straight and narrow with any of the things I'm asking anybody to do. I mean, I don't really believe I should be in the reminder business or anything like that. That's how I see it, you know.
Because I was in the habit of sending the rest of them out in paper form, I sent yours in paper form. I didn't, it wasn't any orchestrated reason. Just straightforward.
Okay, so the second thing is we had I suppose, I won't say difference of opinion, but lack of clarity around what I was entitled to the last time I spoke to you. Have you had a chance to clarify what exactly I'm entitled and what information am I getting?
I've sent you out your interview notes and backup interview notes, basically.
Right. Is the recovering letter saying this is what you've been given?
Yeah.
And is this all of the data that under a Data Protection or Freedom of Information Act would be involved if I were to make such an application? Is there anything being held back? That's the question I'm asking.
No. Liam, we've sent you out your interview notes, basically, and you can take a read and see how you want to proceed from there.
Okay. All right. Look, I'll do that at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apologies for not coming back to you on the email. Like I said, I went into the recruitment inbox and it's a general inbox.
Okay, so if I were to communicate with you, should I have an FAO on the top of this, or how would I prevent that happening again?
I'm sorry, Liam, it wouldn't be the norm that it wouldn't be brought to my attention. It was just an oversight.
Okay. All right, Marcella, look, I'll wait till something arrives here and we'll see what I'll take it from there. Okay? Thank you very much for calling. Okay, bye. Bye. Right.
Okay, that's the... I wanted this. I just said I'd try a different approach this time. It's a 4-minute and 50-second clip. So I just said, look, why not just play that whole data set? Because for me, I've played this for a number of people, from the early days forward, and I was interested in their responses as regards what do you think's actually gone on here. I mean, I just wanted to try to calibrate my own sense of what I was told there. Now, one of the difficulties of this, and again, just look from the waveforms, is the difference in amplitudes and the very light voice that is being used by Marcella. Now, there's two aspects of that. I just again repeat. One is the fact that I'm recording this on a mobile phone. There's an upstream and a downstream. I'm the local person speaking, so my voice is picked up with a greater amplitude. That's the size of these waveforms compared to her voice, which is down there.
I find it handier to just put them in the post, send them out.
And the other thing is, it would be my view that I am not being spoken to in a well-pronounced, clear voice. I literally believe that the person who's speaking to me is like one of those movies where kids hiding under the bed in the case that the bad guys will come in and find them. That's exactly how this sounds. So again, I'd invite you to play the thing back to get... So there's specifics, and then there's the sense of what's going on. Like, I have no idea who this person is. So I'll tell you now that at that point in time when I heard something, so I'll comment on this now. I want to go back and see if I can pick up just a couple of the things that were said, specifics, and we'll just look at that. So I'll have to pause and find them and then just curate them into the conversation. So the first is this one, just...
I just want to apologise about that. I have sent your notes in the post, and you haven't received them yet, I take it.
So there's a sense of exhalation of breath there. I've sent them to you in the post, and you haven't received them yet, I take it. And I'm just wondering what's coming next here, you know. So anyway,
Well, no, sorry, I did. What I asked you in the email was to send it to me by email.
Yeah.
And in fact, I just.
Okay, so again, I asked you to send it by email, and what she says is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, she did. Again, she's confirmed that her cognizance of the fact that it has to be sent by email.
We're in the habit, because they're paper, because of their physical.
So now listen to this explanation.
We're in the habit, because they're paper, because of their physical paper notes. That's why we sent them out. We were finding it handier to just put them in the post, send them out. So there's no, no real. That's really it, you know.
Just look at this bit at the end. There's no.
Send them out. So there's no, no real. That's really it, you know.
So what was being said in what wasn't being said? Just go back, listen to it again. What was being said in that? So what I'm being told is, well, because we had it in paper, well, you know, that's the sort of way we did it. Now, I didn't know what that. It was only much later than that I heard Deirdre Cullen on the radio talking about we will be scanning 370,000 pages a day for the next 6 months. Guys, if you've ever done scanning, I mean, I've been with scanners since the early 90s. I don't mean radio scanners, I mean scanning documents from SCSI to Twain to everything else. I haven't had the fortune or misfortune to personally access a sheet feed scanner, but I have seen them in the college when I was lecturing there, where you just throw things into a machine and it just suddenly turn them into a PDF. I mean, it's so yesterday, and then I'm told these guys are using machinery that does 370,000 a day, and I'm being suggested to me that in some back office somewhere in Ballygo backwards, it just can't do anything. It's working with paper. But the bit that's really interesting, sounds real convincing. Listen to this.
There's no, no real. That's really it, you know.
Right.
So I don't know what that piece of information tells me.
There's no, no real. That's really it, you know.
Right. But presumably you can just digitize them and send them to me now, can you?
That I have another small problem.
Okay, so they were going from. We started off, well, she didn't get my emails because it went somewhere else, and then she posted it, although she wasn't supposed to. So I just look at. I mean, I was on the other end of this. I'm not making any money out of this. It's not my focal. It's not something I want to be turned on to every day. It's not the biggest or lowest job in the world. It was a job. It was there. I really would have liked it. I think it was important. I think I was very competent for it. I believe I did an excellent interview. But look at it. I'm saying, look at you've messed up on so many levels now. You know, I don't have any faith here. But just look, can you just email it to me now? You messed up. Email it to me. So that's all I'm asking when I'm asking this.
Right. But presumably you can just digitize them and send them to me now, can you?
That I have another small problem.
So my presumption is that she had the documents there, that she foolishly posted stuff to me, copied the documents, kept records of whatever. I presume these people at some level of professionalism keep a record of what they're doing. And I said, well, okay, it's a mess, and I don't know where the post is. And actually, I realised that it does matter. I mean, that post has disappeared, let's say, and according to them, they've sent it. So actually, somebody in this country has my personal data. That's the only thing that Sherlock Holmes would believe, unless the dog ate me dinner is real true. It wasn't true in my day. It's certainly, it can be true now. But listen to this.
That I have another small problem.
So there was one problem after another problem after another problem. Like if you're in the ISO business, the ISO 9000 business, you're already heading towards the exit and hoping that the plane hasn't taken off. This does not inspire confidence. Now this is the second time I believe that Marcella shows that she's quite feisty. Just listen again, because I'm saying, look, what's happening? Can we get over the scan and stuff for her? But just listen to how she reacts.
Well, is it a problem with scanning? Like, I don't know. Is it a problem with scanning?
No. Can I just? I'll tell you, it's a very human error. It's my own fault.
So she'd no problem saying, no, listen to this.
I don't know. Is it a problem with scanning?
No. Can I just? I'll tell you.
So she's learned the tactic of saying, no, can I just come in here and say me thing? And so she's not slow. Twice she's done that. And I know. And sorry, these were noted for me by others who reviewed this conversation. So now let we go.
I'll tell you, it's a very human error. It's my own fault. I actually sent you out the original, one of the originals in the post. There's 2 paper notes, but one of them is an original. So if you would be kind enough to send it back, I'd appreciate it.
All right. There's a couple of things. I want you to listen to the heavy breathing that's going on, because that's mine, by the way, and it's certainly not arousal. Well, certainly not. It's not. It is arousal, but at a level of complete and absolute frustration. Well, listen. Just listen.
One of them is an original.
Okay. I want to blow up that little part. I'll just amplify that. I'll take that off because I don't want to affect the original thing. I'll just make that. God, I certainly take that out. That sounds a bit like Darth Vader. I'm not that bad, but that was just my look at it. Was just wow. Where is this stuff going? Like, listen to it again.
Well, is it a problem with scanning? Like, I don't know. Is it a problem?
No.
Okay.
Can I just? I'll tell you, it's a very human error. It's my own fault. I actually sent you out the original, one of the originals in the post. There's 2 paper notes, but one of them is an original. So if you would be kind enough to send it back, I'd appreciate it.
Well,
no, I just want to say to you, and I don't care if people think I'm politically correct or otherwise. In my head, like, I've sat and I've evaluated people for many years, and I absolutely support people in teaching and learning and all the rest of the things. And on the other hand, part of an evaluation is just like I was evaluated. Certain people pass and certain people fail. What I've just listened to there has dunce written on it. Okay, now you can go to your ISPCC or whatever you go to. This is dunce behaviour. D-U-N-C-E. This is the behaviour of a dunce. I'm sitting here saying, I've listened and I've now read for the last 2 months of the quality systems and the standards and the ethics and all these people at high level and all these managers and bosses who are running away, who are telling me that this sort of experience I had couldn't have happened, the people and this person would have been this, that and the other. I really, at this stage, I asked other people, there's a question I asked people, what is the grade of the person in the civil service who is giving me that sort of response? And most people said that there must be an entry level somewhere below clerical assistant. There must be something below that. And that this behaviour, and this isn't personal, Marcella, if you're listening to this is not personal. I want to make it absolutely clear. I don't know if there's other things in the background that affect performance on personal issues, etc. And I've made that quite clear in a further correspondence with your manager, Val McBride. I made it clear if there is a personal aspect of this which makes some explanation, we live stressful lives. I am very mindful. I do not want to. This is not an ad hominem at all, but this is an organisation. This is an official representative of an organisation, and I am someone who I believe has been victimised and harmed by unprofessional behaviour and incompetence, and now this has been heaped upon. So I didn't know, but I need to tell you folks, you probably may know depending on how you get this out of sequence, what we are dealing with here is a person called Marcella Joyce, who has been identified by me, by the assistant principal in that section, as being the higher executive officer in that section, in whom he appears to have, or he states he gives her full support and has a high regard for her competency, etc. No, I'm just saying, I reject that. I'm sorry, I reject it. I don't care how good, bad, or indifferent you go. I reject that concept. And I'm even getting frustrated now because I'm saying, God, in a politically correct word, I should be folding myself over backwards, blaming myself for all the errors that she has introduced. And she being the CSO. As the CSO have at no stage ever suggested that, this person hasn't been up to par. I mean, I'm now at the 8th of May and everybody's just trying to make this thing go away and obfuscate and hide. And let's shoot the piano player. Let's find a piano player well, he's a guy sitting beside a piano. Just shoot him. That's it. Take him out. Okay, so at this stage I'd moved on. I said, well, look, Jesus, can you give me a copy of what you got? Can you scan them and send them to me? I'm real frustrated here. I need it because I've no idea how bad this is going to get. So I asked her the following question.
Okay, well, can you scan that copy and send it to me?
I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do it today, okay?
Right.
Now, this is not okay. This isn't. I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to do it today. This is not okay. I mean, and of course, what you'll find is this is the day before Paddy's Day, and then there's Paddy's Day, which is on a Thursday. And then I look for her on a Friday, and she's not there. And then I look for her the next time she's not there, and she then disappears on these whatever holiday systems or whatever they have. It just disappears into the ether, effectively. That's where she seemed to disappear to. But it is not okay. Just imagine the lack of professional realization that's going on here by the senior higher executive officer. Like, this person effectively has fucked up. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm thinking of every word in the English dictionary of every, what would Shakespeare, how would he coin this word? She is fucked up at every level. Is that near my frustration tolerance threshold? No, I used to be a lot worse. At 60, I'm actually kind of calm at this stage, right? But I need to say that we need to have some encapsulation of that absolutely insanely poor standards that I'm meeting here. Like, this is someone who has repeatedly had disaster after disaster, like a perfect storm of unprofessionalism. And when I simply ask her, would you scan what you've left and send it to me? I'm not sure if I'd get around to it today. Like, as in, get real here. Just make it happen. So one thing that absolutely gives me clarity here, this person not remotely interested in giving me any level of professional performance. So moving on again to another excerpt. Just listen to this.
I mean, I don't really believe I should be in the reminder business or anything like that. That's how I see it, you know.
Because I was in the habit of sending the rest of them out in paper form, I sent yours in paper form. I didn't, it wasn't any orchestrated reason. This, just straightforward.
Okay, I just want to. There's a word here that was introduced by Marcella.
Reason. This, just.
Sorry, it's back here.
It wasn't any orchestrated. It wasn't any orchestrated reason. It wasn't any orchestrated reason.
So Marcella's saying it wasn't any orchestrated reason, because it would appear to me that even Marcella must get the fact that the dog ate the dinner stuff is becoming a bit wearisome at this point in time. But also she's saying, because I was in the habit of sending things out by paper. So I don't know what kind of habits these people are. I don't know what word. There's an organisation that now is telling me that they scan 370,000 documents a day for 6 months. How would you even oil them machines? How would you imagine? It's like driving a car around the world 100 times in a week. Like, it's amazing technology. I'd love to have access to this technology. I don't have anything like that. Remember, I'm a pensioner with limited resources, operating on my own in an isolated state, trying to tackle this incredible monster, and it is a monster. And she's telling me send things out. But now that's interesting, as you've listened to the whole thing now. Look at the story behind all this. Apparently, I'm being told there are 3 pieces of paper. There's a covering letter which would have been typed on a computer. There's a marking sheet. In fact, what I'll do is, why don't I show you those? I'll show you those. I'll just pull them up on the from the collated document. Why I did this, I'll just search for them now. Okay, so there's this letter. Here's a letter supposedly or purportedly sent to me on the 14th of March, a covering letter, and the address that's there is my correct address. Okay, that's my correct address. So they raised the question of whether they might have sent the wrong address. So it's a letter that was sent to me. For the first time ever, it identifies a link that I can go to where I could seek the appeals procedure, etc. So, I mean, I asked for this on the 24th of February, and somebody's purported to have sent it out to me on the 14th of March. So there's that document. That's the first one. There's this document, which is this marking sheet that she talked with, shows marks and some comments. And then there is another document which is a support set of documents. Whether it's on one page or more pages, I do not know. But it's the information where I understand that the answers, the questions asked of me and the answers given by me would have been noted down, and they therefore stand to authenticate and legitimate these marks. What I'm being told is that this document, the letter, always on a computer, this document, which is an original, they had that. The other document, they're saying, they're offering me the suggestion that this document was copied, the one you're looking at here. It was put in an envelope with another original, as against the other one wasn't copied. and put in with a letter which was obviously printed off a computer and then sent in snail mail post to me, not using registration or anything, and just thrown out the door to me. And well, the first thing is it never arrived. But the other interesting thing from I just picked up there now and listened to that dialogue, just listen to what she says here about her norm.
Because I was in the habit of sending the rest of them out in paper form, I sent yours.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I was in the habit of sending the rest of them out in paper form, I sent yours in paper form. I did.
Okay, so I'm being told because he's in the habit of sending the rest of them out in paper form. Now look, these are amazingly questionable habits. Why people are doing this in 2016? It should be shocking, and why an organisation running a census, which we have been guaranteed your data will be securitized, and no, we've never will be securitized for 100 years, and we have the chief statistician using all their power and influence, convincing people on the media this is true, when in fact, as it turns out, they have breached data. The following other videos of phone recordings and the documentation catalogue a whole series of disastrous errors, but a consistent maintenance of an incorrect reality by the CSE, the CSO as an organisation, particularly by their leader, the Director General Pádraig Dalton, the Director General of the CSO, and their Chief Statistician Deirdre Cullen, maintaining a public illusion which is incorrect, that they have never, ever released personal detail to everyone. So what has happened is this letter, the purported letter of mine, never arrived. On further investigation, and that is explained in the other videos where I've gone through the documentation bit by bit and take people through the exposition of what went on, but just tying it into this interview, or this phone conversation I had with Marcella, I obviously subsequent to this, and just to say what I did after the interview, or after this phone conversation with her. Remember that happened at 15:59. It's 4 o'clock on the 16th of March, the day before Paddy's Day. That was on that's a Wednesday. So just sort of to close the loop on this, on the 18th of March at 14:20. So that's the day after Paddy's Day, that's a Friday. I said, "Hi Marcella, you rang me on the 16th of March. I have not received anything in the post. You confirmed, as I understood it, that you had posted an original document of which you had not retained a copy. You had also posted other material which you do have either a copy of or the original. You also sent a covering letter. I requested that you email me a copy of the material you had posted, as I had requested from the outset. You said you might not get to do it on Tuesday last. I presume you can now just email the material you have, including whatever covering letter there was, without further delay, and I request you do this by return email." So that closes that segment at that time. But just as a sort of conclusion around what the facts around that, so this material, which is purported been sent to me, I argue has been conveniently lost. Right, because I now can't interrogate that information, because when I have separately analysed this data, when I analysed this material and I then compare that to the scoring matrix which I managed to effectively coerce out of these people, I mean it was hen's teeth stuff, what I find is a statistical anomaly or abnormality that anybody with half a brain or half an interest in quality systems would have said, this stacks out, there's something wrong here. And I just again want to say, look at highlighting this, I got 285 marks out of 500 in a system that the pass mark was 300, and I have been evaluated by these people as having displayed average communication skills during interview. Now, I just want to tell you folks, I did an excellent interview. And so anyway, that's what that is. But I'd like you to just reflect for a moment on where I'm at in relation at that point. This is on the 18th, at that point in time I'm talking. I'm now in May, but right at that point in time, I'm just after having this conversation with this person, Marcella. At that stage, I do not realise, I think that it must be in the lowest possible position in the organisation. I didn't realise that she was the higher executive officer in the census section, and I have lost all faith in the possibility that there's any level of professionalism or paying attention to anything that's going on. And I want to say to you, in the following interviews that you will hear, or phone recording conversation here with Val McBride, the assistant principal officer, with Tony Downs. I presume, again, I don't know what his status in the organisation is, but I can't imagine he's at a lower level than a higher executive officer. And it'll be interesting when I find that out. I'd like to curate that into the conversation, because he's just done a runner as well and disappeared. He has given me undertakings, and I'll clarify those in those other recordings. He hasn't complied or delivered on any of them. But these people are cognizant of the outcomes. I mean, right now, to be fair, I'm just going to try and get this published up as quick as I can, and it'll be really interesting at some stage that any of them might say how much data must be provided into the public space before any of them lift their heads out of the trough of trying to circle the wagons to punish me for having the temerity or the audacity to simply ask for fair play, and actually come up with a story. Well, I don't want any stories. I just want the truth. I want them to do their job. I mean, I've been denied the opportunity of filling in my census form this year. And people said, are you a troublemaker? Are you trying to anti-water? No, I wanted to fill in my census form. And it's important to me. Just to show you how important this is to me, this is a copy of the 1911 census. So it's 105 years ago. But it's the census form filled in by my grandfather, who at that time was a 23-year-old chap called Lawrence Tracy. He was 23. His father was 71. His mother was 62. This was first put online in 2011. The first census was released and put online, shared in 2011, because it was 100 years old. And I had long and interesting discussions with my late mother. I put this up on a big 42-inch screen, and I was saying, wow, we can look and study this in detail. And my mother was able to tell me that the handwriting in that document is the handwriting of her own father. Her father, not the man of the house, the man who was responsible for it. Because you can see, the man at that house could not read. The mother of that house could not read. The son of the house, who was my grandfather, Lawrence, son, Roman Catholic, could both read and write, was a general labour unemployed. And the interesting thing from a social analysis point of view is that somewhere in that period, somewhere around 1890, people started to get educated in terms of reading and writing. There's a 23-year-old man can read and write, 40-year-old man cannot read, 38-year-old man, 50-year-old. These are people who were in the house as either on the night they were lodgers or boarders, as what it says. So I mean, I'm being denied my legacy to fill in my form for one reason and one reason only: that the guarantee that's been given to me that my data will be secure for 100 years has already been breached directly in my experience. And in conscience and in any sort of logic, I cannot allow my data to be given over to those basically what I would call digital savages. That's what they are, digital savages. And their approach is to spend their time trying to create takedowns on YouTube. And the Data Protection Commissioner's approach is to try to criminalise me for exposing this complete abusive process in this country. So I'll leave you in case I get too worked up. But does it matter? That's the question. Does it matter? And again I say, it matters to me. You have to make up your own mind. Anyway, guys, Liam O'Gogan here. Thank you very much for your time and attention.